You've got mail and I've got Bruce Poppy. Bruce, how are you, my friend? Welcome into the show.
Great. Oh man, things are fantastic. Yeah, I was waiting for, it was a 1200 baud modem that you were trying to connect there over the old telephone line. And if we get a phone call during the show, we're gonna get cut off. I mean, that's the
Right.
way
Or
it
somebody
works.
picks up the other extension, there's a problem.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, God, can you believe back then AOL? I mean, there's people still that have an AOL address. I
I
didn't even
know.
know that they were. Oh,
I know. I didn't know it still existed, but sure enough, there it is. There people actually have it, and it's kind of funny. I wanted to do that. I kind of felt the urge to do that. I was like, with AT&T problem and stuff. It's like, yeah, let's go back to dial-up, right? Well, wait a minute, that's landline, and it's interesting here because we were talking about that this week. We had canceled our landlines about 5 years ago here, so everything is now over the internet and voice over IP. And we said, well, the wire was hanging for the landline, it was hanging down. It was like, do we still need that? And then my operations manager said, no, AT&T sent out a message that they're not going to install any more copper. I was like, oh, because they're the only provider out here is AT&T. They're not going to, no more copper. So if you take that wire out, that's it. It's over.
hey, you can recycle that stuff. Copper is valuable. I mean,
Copper's got
people are.
value.
I mean, down here in Florida a few years ago when the real estate crash and stuff was going on, people were stealing air conditioners out of
Oh,
houses.
yeah. Yeah.
There was one foreclosure that I had to take possession of for the bank, and somebody had a crawl spacer and broken through the floor, got inside the house, busted out the walls, and stole all the copper piping out of the house. Oh my gosh.
That's a
So, I
lot of
mean,
work.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
people will do anything, man, for a buck,
So how you doing today? You feeling good? You ready to rock and roll this show and get in here and
Um,
dig in?
Oh yeah, let's rock and roll.
Okay.
And also just a quick note, since we're doing the AOL dial-up thing, we're also streaming onto MySpace. So check that out.
MySpace is still in business. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I don't know. I would assume so. I mean,
It's like
AOL,
that or
AOL,
Friendster. I mean, what's the other one?
we're good. Yeah, the BBSs. Remember the old BBSs?
That's where I got my start. I got my start in the BBS world back in the 80s, no, mid 90s, actually. I was working for a company and I told the boss, I said, we're selling information products here. We should be selling these online. He looked at me and he goes, what's online? I said, don't worry about it. I need an old IBM XT computer. I need a modem, a phone line. And I made my very first sale online in 1989 on a bulletin board system.
Now
$1,100. Never forget it.
there's a reason your hair is white. Then.
Yep. Yeah, I've been here for a little bit. I've been doing this for a little while. What a week. What a week. I have no words. We wake up every morning, Phoebe and I, and we're just like, okay, where are things? Where do we stand? What's happening? And you start going through the feeds, and before you know it, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, we got to get the day going. It just gets so carried away with it. It's just so
Oh
much
yeah,
stuff going on. The
and
good,
it's
the
all
bad, the
all
ugly.
the all the yeah, like I on my channel, my thumbnail is we're deconstructing the deep state narrative. And
Yes.
it's pretty much happening on their own. It's happening by osmosis anymore. We don't have to do nothing. We just sit around and just collect all the spoils of them.
And you're watching it fall apart, and there's a period, anything, there's a war. So we're going to win some battles, we're going to lose some battles, and this week it feels like we're losing, but we're trying to give you the insight here that, yeah, we may lose a little bit here and a little bit there, but the truth of the matter is, I think the bigger arc is that we're winning. And if you look at a stock market chart, for instance, right, you'll see ups and downs, and then you look for that trend line overall. What is it doing? Don't look at the individual days. Overall, what's that stock doing? And I think for us, it's an overall positive trend line. I think we're moving in that direction. And, what we're seeing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce, on this, but we're seeing acts of desperation now.
I think so. And then maybe I mean, I understand where you're going with the stock market analogy, but the stock market, is falsely propped up. So I mean, are our wins, are our climbing up? Is that falsely propped up?
You're bringing the conspiracy into it. I don't know. If you watched our show yesterday with Laura Worley, you may have walked away from that thinking, my gosh, we have no hope. But the truth is that we do have some ways to deal with some of the things that she was talking about. Although it's pretty daunting, we've got our work cut out for us, clearly, and it's not going to go away overnight. And I think the consensus is 100% now across the board. People don't believe that there'll be a November election, although we got to act as if, because what if there is one? We have to build towards that anyway. But I think a lot of people are tapping in with that, and they're going, and stop worrying about it. Things are going to fall apart before that. We see a lot of signs of it, but until it actually happens. And, we're going to talk a little bit about the AT&T outage yesterday, and people were wondering what that was about. We'll dig into that because I think it's an important story. Sure. All right. Our friend Tara Bull 808, Tara Bull 808 on X. If you don't follow that account, follow it. She puts a lot of effort into her stuff. And actually, she has conversations back and forth sometimes with Elon Musk. We've invited her on the show, so we'll see one day if she decides to join us. Are you ready to dig in, my friend?
I got my shovel. I'm ready to go.
All right. Number 10, Google suspends the absurdly woke Gemini AI image tool after a backlash exposes extreme racial imbalance. How could that be?
Well, it's because the people that program it are woke as F. It's just, I think this is kind of a disclosure situation.
Yeah.
Because the AI in itself, a tool, it can be very, very valuable. You can use AI for a lot of good and positive things, but it depends on who's created, how it's learning, and the direction that you point that thing. And Google, obviously, when they turn our founding fathers into black people with dreads and black popes and all kinds of other crazy woke stuff. I saw one of a female signing the Declaration of Independence. It was just insane. And so I think it's a disclosure thing just to kind of expose the fallacy and some of the wokeness within the AI systems that are currently in place.
It's interesting because we talked a lot about Mike Benz and what he brought to the surface this week, which was quite impressive. If you haven't watched that video yet, go do it. We talked about, and I'm just working here while we're chatting because I wanted to show you this image. It's really interesting to see that image. There's the image that came up out of AI of a founding father. So AI's chatbot. This is a founding father. I don't remember a black Chinese man being part of the founding father. Do you remember that, Bruce? I don't remember that.
No.
So yeah, he was talking about the censorship being an entire industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry. And if you think about, we talked about this yesterday, how AI is programmed, right? AI needs a massive amounts of data. But if the data is pre-screened or pre-washed before it goes into the AI will, of course, be biased. It will not get a reading on everything that's out there. So I think that's what's going on here, and it's kind of interesting to look at it and say, okay, if a lot of Google's AI is going to be based on Google's content, the censorship there is pretty extreme. So from that perspective, what do you think you're going to get if they put an AI system out there?
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
No, I mean, if you look back, some of, a person like Cliff High, it was maybe not AI, but he had, programming some linguistic, picking up on words and the way that people were talking about certain things. You could kind of guesstimate where things were going to go. But that was back, that was effective when the communication was more pure and less influenced, by, these bots. That the bot situation was huge. I think that was the big problem during when Dorsey was still at Twitter and all of the, the censorship, people are losing accounts. It was bots that were, driving the train back then and canceling us conservatives, anything to do with Trump and all that stuff. So this has been going on this isn't brand new. It's been going on for, many, many years, at least back I think that Ben's guy said 2012 or 14,
2012 or 14, yeah, somewhere in that range. And then it's gotten much better now because the AI has taken over, where in the past they actually had teams of people scanning every post and deciding, keep it, delete it, keep it, delete it. Yeah, it's not that anymore. And Lewis has had experiences of even trying to post things and things get blocked before they even post, which means that you're being scanned right at the point of hitting the post button, because once you hit the post button, right, the AIs will grab that information, even if it's only online for a few minutes before it gets removed. So what they recognize is, no, we have to stop it before it even gets on the platform.
Yep. I mean, 100% correct. I mean, that's why the fallacy in a lot of these social media, as we know, Facebook. I mean, it's a DARPA, it's a government program. Mark Zuckerberg didn't, sitting in his mom's basement in his garage, come up with Facebook all of a sudden. He was the chosen individual to be the face of the DARPA LifeLog.
Yep. So
I mean, it's all a data collection. That's all it's about, and they're feeding all of this information to this AI, and it's, like I said, it's where who's ever in control of it. That's what we got to kind of watch for, because, like I said, AI can be used in a very positive, very beneficial way to humanity in many, many situations. But it has to have a pure and full information to be able to do its job properly.
Correct. And AI is a tool, and it can be used for good or evil. And it's kind of interesting. I was talking about this the other day too, how quickly the evil side came up. It took a long time for them to catch on with email and websites and such. But this is like, it's immediate. It went to the dark side pretty much right away. I'm like, whoa, that was fast.
Yeah. I mean, even today at CPAC, Pat Comerick, Kat Comerica, a Florida representative, was on there, had a little discussion about AI and the evil and the good of it. So even our friend Kurrick Ashley, there's a huge AI thing. How to use AI in business going on in Australia. Multi events coming up in the next week or two that he had sent me an invite to, but it's in person. It's not online. So I'm sorry, Kurrick, I'm not going to make it to Australia.
He'd love it to see you there.
I would love to go.
Number 9 is Elon Musk hints at starting an unwoke search engine, Xmail, to replace Google Gmail. So he's going to start a search engine and Xmail as well. That was written a little strange, but yeah, he's going to start both of those, which we kind of knew. Elon had bigger plans for Twitter when he bought it. It wasn't just to continue it being what it was. And I think Jack Dorsey had said many years ago, he said he created it as a side project. He had no idea the thing was going to take off the way it did. And it did. It took off, and he was kind of afraid to really make any changes to it. Because it was like, he was kind of surprised that it grew as big as it grew and became such an important
didn't want to throw any sand in the gears, for sure.
Yeah, he was afraid.
And you've been saying that about Elon, wanting to make this a all-in-one encompassing, big, huge, massive, everything in one place situation.
Well, he's aiming to replace Facebook, YouTube, Google, Gmail, right, and PayPal. Interestingly enough, the company he co-founded. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean, I would be
on board for unwoke. I mean, the only thing I have a Gmail account for is so I can keep adding new YouTube channels. I'm up to number 8.
Number 8. Oh boy! Speaking of number 8, the media refused to release the Super Bowl
for hiding it. These fucking people. You can't. They're criminals. I mean, you cannot. The media is over. It's done with. I mean, even the media is a joke.
My question is you have the journalist in the street who is reporting on these stories. They bring it to their editor, and the editor says, "Can't report on it. Can't say this. Can't say that." Why aren't they speaking up? What do you think's going on?
Well, they like their paycheck, probably.
Yeah, we all like the paycheck. We got that.
Who knows? If their reporters themselves are compromised. I mean, it's a racket. I mean, it would love to have some real, local type journalistic whistleblowers that come out and say all this stuff. We've seen them all over the place. The Mockingbird media, multiple different screens from all different locations around the country. Local news now. Not the big, national stuff, just your local, like here in Tampa, it's Fox 13. Their guys Charlie Belcher. He's saying the same all saying the same exact words. They get their talking points, the 4 a.m. CIA talking points. I mean, that's a real deal. That's been proven by some whistle. But we need more people to stand up and say no. I mean, there is no such thing as journalism anymore from that big standpoint. They want us. It's all propaganda. I mean, there's if you saw the videos recently on X with Justin Castro up there railing, against all these people in the mainstream media that you should only have two outlets. We can't agree on that. We can't have all these people out there countering what we're trying to say, and so they're driving us into this funnel situation where, and it's quite obvious with the viewership, right?
We call it China for a reason,
Yeah.
I am still shocked at how fast Canada did not push back, and they've got a lot of communist rulings now that are happening there, and it's just and now they're going to euthanize.
Are safe and effective. I mean, God bless America. Well, at some point, that's the thing that gets me fired up is, when are we going to have the Nuremberg 2.0? Who's going to be held accountable? When is all this going to come?
I asked Laura that yesterday. I said, what's going on with that? And she believes a lot of people are MK Ultra much more than we even recognize through our, what are these little things called? These little black things we have in our hands? What are they called?
The listening devices, the tracking devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are being programmed to stand down, literally. And that's what's happening. We're in fear and we're standing down because you're not seeing that as much in other countries, right? So they're using the technology, which can be a very good thing, but I believe they're using the technology against us. And she may have a point there because you have to wonder, it's like the United States, are you kidding me? We call bullshit at the drop of a hat, and we'll step out and fight and defend. And it's like there's been nothing. We had a border convoy. That should have been 10 times as big as it was. We had, the next story here, we're talking about truckers vow to cut off deliveries in New York City to protest Trump's 355, 360, 460, different numbers people throw around. But the truckers were supposed to boycott. That lasted a day.
No, it takes some time because here's the thing. I was a good friend of mine that I met when we were on the Take Our Border Back convoy. Trucker at large was saying, hey, when this was started, there was already trucks on the road on their way. They can't just stop their load because, whatever. So they had to go through this, weaning out. And as things go forward, if we can build some momentum with the thing, I'm all 100%. We the people need the truckers rule everything. I learned that back in the People's Convoy when the truckers came across for the mandates back then, right?
Yep.
They're making people get vaxxed to be, carry loads in their trucks. So they said no more mandates. But all these truckers need to do, because they run the country. I mean, the railways bring the stuff from the ships and whatever, but to get it from the point A to the store where you and I buy it takes a truck.
Yep.
And all these, we don't have to protest. We don't have to go and line the trucks up along the border or whatever. All they got to do, turn the truck off. But, you got to be in a position, you got to be willing to take that pain.
Well, they got to eat. Yeah, exactly. And their every delivery is money that they feed their family with. So it's a little bit hard. I can see the
guy, he's got seven kids. He's an independent guy. He's, on his own.
Yep.
So, I mean, I understand that. But at some point, that's why we're not, further along the road here in America. We have the good guts. We have the Constitution to stand up. But people aren't willing to take the pain that it's going to take to take this down.
Well, it's either you're going to take the pain now, right? It's like eating organic. You're either going to eat organic food and pay the higher price now, or you're going to pay the doctor later. But you're going to pay either way. And if we don't do anything now, we're going to pay, and we will lose the freedoms that we've enjoyed, and we've lost quite a few of them. I mean, just go back to the Patriot Act and realize how many of your freedoms were ripped away with one signature under George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what we have to be. We have to get to a point where we're willing to take the pain, because I could see millions and millions of people. I don't have a platform to get this word out, but I mean, everybody just stop going to work for a week or two or three or a month, and then shut the whole country down until these people wake up. And if that's what it's going to take to wake up some of the people who are still asleep and buying into the bullshit, or to get our elected or selected people that are supposed to be representing us to remember their oath. Which side am I on? To remember their oath, right? Because I'm a deputy for freedom. We until they get back in line. It's time to start throwing off. I mean, the Declaration of Independence is super clear, and we are right in that midst of that point of a tyrannical government through a long train of usurpations, right? That we have a right and a duty to throw off the old government and institute new guards that are going to be looking out for our best interests. So, I mean, we're at that point. We can't, the whole, don't even get me on the whole white hat and plan situation. I mean, the longer things go on, the more bullshit I call on that. I mean, there's probably some truth to it, but I mean, there's the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Always is, though, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. Shocking trend showing law enforcement listing Black and Hispanic criminals as white.
Yeah, they're trying. Yeah, because everybody talking about the black on black violence, right? There all these different things. Now they're trying to sway to influence the statistics. And I've seen pictures, many pictures of mugshots and jail things or whatever. Guys black as night, sitting there and on his thing, Joe Blow, 5'10", male, white, and here's this picture. Guys black as coalies for the COVID stuff. They're just way they count it. It's all smoke and freaking mirrors, folks.
Yeah, they don't want us to know the real numbers. They really don't want us to know the reality. And we're in a time now where black is white and white is black. Everything is flipped. Everything is backwards, and it's really confusing, especially to the younger generation. I think this is why the generation is so lost, is because they don't have a foundation. Everything that the parents will teach them, the teachers will teach them the exact opposite now. And they always say a man with one watch always knows what time it is. A man with two is never quite sure. And I think that's what ends up happening. You're getting this from mom and dad, and you're getting this from the school, and now you're not sure which is the truth.
Yeah,
because you have no life experience at that age. And I think that there's really you're doing a lot of damage. It's going to be generational. It will be a long time to recover from it. Yeah. And Absolutely. You get these kids who, how many genders are there? Well, there's 72 genders. Really, where'd that number come from? Like 72 virgins? Is that the common number? Is that what I mean? What's the deal here?
Absolutely. And a lot of, I would say, me and my daughter, who's a psychologist, or getting her doctorate in psychology, go round and around with this. But I believe a large percentage of the teen, that preteenish, that 10 to 16 years old that are in school, middle schoolish type age, it's trendy now. It's no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
And the repercussions that can have. And then you got the counselors in the school poisoning their minds, and then they're saying this to be cool. And then all of a sudden the counselor says, hey, maybe you should take these puberty blockers if you really want to go down that road. And then that starts a cascade of other poor decisions. And by the time they realize it, they're in these strapped down things and taking these puberty blockers. And it's
the puberty blockers, I understand the damage is not reversible. You go through puberty once, and if you block that, apparently it's not reversible. You don't get a second chance at that. Once you mess it up, you mess it up. And yeah, it is detrimental, both physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically. I mean, any way you look at it, these kids are not going to have a bright future because they're not going to be grounded. They're not going to be stable. If you don't know what your identity is, how in the world can you push forward and make a difference in this world?
There's even these hormone, I would call them, there's hormone blockers that are in makeup and cosmetics for females. I mean, that's truth. That's fact.
Yeah.
This the whole soy thing, and you're bringing down the testosterone, the whole toxic male masculinity situation. This is all big. You can look back through history how this has been a slow degradation of our society. I mean, ever since, late 90s, early 2000s, really, the participation trophies and feelings of their utmost importance. This is where we're at now. So yeah, crazy. Oh my gosh.
I'm just looking at the chat room. Boy, there's a lot of activity in the SPG chat room today. So really kind of cool to see that. All right. Do we want to take a break for our guest, or do we want to continue our list because we're kind of at the half-hour mark? What do you think?
Let's bring on our special guest.
The elusive, the illustrative. Let me set him up real quick here. Give me a moment, and I will make sure that he looks the part.
Oh yeah, he's right where we're going here.
He's right where we're going. Okay, that didn't work. I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Hang on, just 1 second, people. Always fun to produce while we're live. You
need me to call AOL tech support?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Be on hold for like 4 hours.
Yeah, and the first thing they're gonna tell you is reboot your computer. Well, look who we have here. Oh my! Da, 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 da.
How you doing?
He must have some really good information because he's wearing a special news hat.
I know he's got that going on there. Really kind of cool.
I done think that the aliens are taking over.
There is an actual alien invasion happening right now.
There is an alien
from our
invasion.
southern border, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
There is an alien invasion. I think it penetrates past the borders. I think it comes from space. You got my idol is Elon Musk because he's got SpaceX, he's got X cars, he's got X Twitter. He's just all X'd out. I just love me some Elon. But what I would like to say today, I think it's very interesting, and you got them conspiracy theorists out there, and I'm not one of them. In fact, I wear my tinfoil hat to protect me from them conspiracy theorists. But if I'm not quite sure in this technology, Mr. Imbriale, but if I can share the screen, I'm going to do that right now. Let me see what we got going on here.
You go ahead and do that, and we'll see what happens here.
What do we got going on here? Let's see how come I'll
it's
share
the Asian George Washington again.
There you go.
That's right. That's right. You nailed it. All right, here we go. Okay. Nope, that ain't it. Here we
Wrong
go.
button.
Here we go. That's what she said. All right. That's right. Here we go.
You did say penetration a couple of minutes.
Oh no, here we go. I think I'm on the wrong show. Can't be
This is a
listening to
family
that
show.
stuff. Okay, here we go. Here's I sharing the screen right now. So y'all know what happened. I'm really confused now because that's over 50 years ago, right? And he done talked to him within about a second. Am I right? Am I right? You say I'm right. I'm right. Right? That's about a second. But yet it now takes us 15 minutes to them find the damn signal and then 15 seconds to hear it. What the heck is going on over here? I think I'm gonna take my hat off because I don't need to protect myself from a conspiracy terrorist. I damn it am a conspiracy theorist.
Right?
That's all about that.
It is. It's crazy. 15 seconds. I mean, there's a 25, 30-second delay from the Zoom that I'm doing now before it shows up on Rumble, and that's on the same freaking planet. Come on.
What can we say, ladies and gentlemen?
Can't make it up. Can't make this stuff up, right?
Thank you, boys. Appreciate you giving me the time today. I just thought that was very interesting.
Absolutely.
Have fun.
People in the chat were saying, thank you for that laugh. We really needed that. So you can tell, we need to lighten things up on a Friday.
Right.
Yeah. Twilight Guardians rolling on the floor lab.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Lewis. Okay. Wow. All right. We should jump into this real quick. And before we go into number 5, if you have not been over to screwbiggov.com, please go there. Rememberyouroath.com, quick link to that. Cages, Freedom in Action is for those of you who want to know what to do locally. You could find out there. Also, there's a swag button at the bottom if you want to wear cool shirt like Bruce is wearing right now. And then there's the social media button as well. If you want to find all of Lewis's great comedy, you could find it online there. If you want to reach me, you can send me an email, robert@renegademedia.tv, or look up Renegade Media on Telegram, where we post a lot of the videos that we use here. If you want to reach Bruce Poppy at switch-usa.com, and he responds to every email. He's better than me.
Even the bad ones.
Even the bad one. And sometimes the bad ones are the best ones.
Absolutely.
They help make us better. I mean, at the end of the day, that makes us better, you know?
Yeah, I'm willing to engage anybody on a intellectual, fact-based discussion. If they have issues, bring it.
Bring it. All right, back to our list. Number 5, Matt Gaetz calls for a vote on legislation that bans members of Congress from trading stocks. Oops.
Yeah. You'd think. I mean, isn't there something already in place for that? They have some type of ethics or something like that?
Yeah, they don't follow that. They don't follow that. Hey, you know, the interesting thing is that if they were to do that, then nobody would want to go up to Congress because that's where they make their money. Insider trading. They know things are going to happen before they happen. They know what's happening. They know they're told what stocks to buy, what stocks to hold, what stocks to sell. And, look at Pelosi. What is she worth? $300 million or something like that on a salary of less than $200,000 a year?
Yep. So if you want to get rich in the stock market, just follow everything that Paul Pelosi buys and sells.
That's right.
I think somebody did a little while back, just some, calculations, and he has a win percentage of nearly 70%. It's in the middle to upper 60%, which is even more win percentage in the stock market than people like Warren Buffett. So, follow Paul Pelosi for all your stock tips.
I have a win percentage of like 2%, so don't follow my stock tips.
I had one a few weeks ago, and I wish I'd jump on it because I could have tripled my money.
If I would have bought Apple or Microsoft back in the 80s, I'd be okay today.
Now, this is the penny stock that I'm talking about.
Ooh.
Yeah, you could at the end of last day of January, I could have bought in 23 cents a share. Today, that same stock is 66, almost 67 cents a share. In less than a month, 3 times.
Remember to follow Unpopular Viewpoint on Rumble for more stock
Don't
tips.
follow me because I didn't buy that. I didn't buy it.
Okay, stock tips in arrears.
Right, yeah, exactly. I need that time travel.
Let me tell you what you should have bought last week.
Yeah, right.
If I had my DeLorean, I'd be okay with that.
Right? Well, there's some interesting. So people have some interesting takes about the Trumps and Back to the Future, and I was reading some stuff there. It's pretty interesting takes. People have way too much time on their hands. They got their cute decoder rings out of a Cracker Jack box.
Yep. One of the reasons I kind of stick with the current events. That's sort of where my meat and potatoes, because that's really what I enjoy doing. It's like I do. Hear all this conspiracies and things like that. And most of them just, no proof behind it. It's just a theory at that point. And then I can tend to I'm more pragmatic, more realistic, I guess, in that respect. And, some people are not like that. Some people are. So, it is what it is. All right. Matt from New York. They've been based in New York forever. And now they're leaving. They're moving to a facility in a red state, Georgia.
Boom. Good for them.
Yeah.
More companies need to do this. I mean, if people, stop doing stuff. Like I said in the beginning of the show, truckers turn them off. We just stop going to work. We stop. All this ends when we all say no. But many people, too many people in the population are not willing to go through the pain that it's going to take to be able to bring this corrupt system down.
Exactly. And you're right. I mean, the simple answer, this all ends when we say no. We haven't said no yet. We still go along with it. We still play the game.
Yep.
We still say yes. And until we start saying no, and in big numbers, not just one or two of us saying no, but in big numbers, we're not going to impact and we're not going to affect any change.
Right.
They
And
don't have power over all of us. They cannot arrest all of us. Yes, if you look at January 6th, yes, they arrested, 1,200, 1,500 people, whatever it is. Guys, there were 2 million people there. Do the math. It's a tiny percentage. Yes, it's sad for those who are arrested. It's sad that they're political prisoners. It's sad that they're going through what they're going through. I get it. But we're not going to win 100%, and we are going to lose some soldiers along the way. And it's a little bit like you got to understand collateral damage, and I hate to think that that's a good thing, but sometimes there is no other way around it.
No. You got to be willing to take the bullet, man. But we hear these songs, the Aaron Lewis song, there's Kid Rock songs. I mean, everybody knows me. I'm into music. There's tons and tons of songs. Hey, if you you better bring yours if you're coming to take mine. There's another guy that sings a song like that. So, and I read ahead, and I got a confession to make about our bonus selection today. I have a confession. So,
okay,
interesting story.
This story is kind of in the news too. CBS seizes the property of fired investigative reporter who was digging into, guess what? The Hunter Biden laptop. Again, another journalist under attack.
And this is a real one, a real journalist. She's Catherine Herridge when she was with Fox. I mean, she's always been, seemingly above board, seemingly good, seemingly, bringing forward truth and information in her reporting.
Yep.
As much as she could with the, editing and short leashes that the higher ups at these channels do, put these people on. But yeah, and they took her stuff. I mean, I think that's her property. Her tools of her trade, isn't that her property? I mean, she probably acquired some of these because it could reveal, confidential informants and sources and things like that. I mean, that's why, the government uses this methods and sources for hiding all kinds of shit from us.
Yep.
To keep it top secret or whatever. We can't because of sources and methods. So now, they're wanting to get to her sources and methods. So they're taking her stuff. And I don't see this ending well for CBS at all.
Well, it goes deeper than that. Because she used to be employed by Fox News.
Right.
And she has a lot of Fox News stuff in her computers. And they took her files. They took computers. They took phones. They took everything from her. They stripped her basically of her career is what they did. And, they have no business, even though the CBS is claiming, well, we had the right because she's our employees. We have the right to access all that stuff, but they don't have the right to access anything that she had from Fox. So right away it falls flat. And here's the challenge I have with it. They've seized it. They've probably already gone through it and grabbed and made copies of everything. So even if the court rules you got to give it back, which it's probably will happen, it doesn't really matter. They've got what they wanted out of it already.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one of the, today, Jim Jordan was on CPAC and he was talking about, the First Amendment and if they can keep us from speaking, the 5 tenets, he was talking about the 5 tenets of the First Amendment. And those, that's what's hugely under attack. And they're slowly trying to get at the 2A as well. So, I mean, this is the stuff we have to stand up for with every fiber of our being and scream from the rooftops, regardless of the repercussions. That's none of the MK Ultra stuff that, that's in there. People are scared that they're going to be socially ostracized or lose their job or, doxxed or, have some crazy BLM or Antifa stand up against the school board and the indoctrination of children. So, I mean, that's the fear porn that these very small percentage, even Hughes talks about that, they make it seem like that's the consensus or the majority of the country. And that's just not the case. It's a super small.
They amplify it. They're able to amplify. Yeah, no question. Yep. I don't know what we're going to do there, but we've got to do something. This next one is interesting too. This is number 1. New York City Council calls for an investigation of the mayor's plan to give illegals $10,000 debit cards. I don't know about you, but most people don't make $10,000 a month.
Well, I'm not one of them. Not me. Not this guy.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. You see that? When I put my hand up, the AI thing picks it up. People can't see it on the Zoom, but you see that on the Zoom thing? on my Zoom, I can see a hand raises on my Zoom thing.
Oh,
See it?
that's cool.
And look, it puts the hand up on the window.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I see the hand up. Yeah, I see it on Zoom.
Holy crap. AI taking over Zoom. Holy cow.
Let me try. No, not doing it for me. Okay.
They're not watching you.
I don't have AI turned on, I guess, or maybe I'm the host and maybe the host doesn't get to raise a hand. I can't ask a question on my own show. What is this?
That's crazy.
Laura had an interesting perspective on this, and it kind of sends shivers down your spine when you hear it. But she said the $10,000 debit cards were to pay the soldiers.
Well, there has been more rumblings through people in Congress of bills of allowing these illegals to serve in the military for citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what's really going on behind the scenes? I mean, it could be, I'm guessing a lot of the $10,000, if it actually comes to fruition, goes back to the cartels, that got them across the border if they were into that situation. I mean, this is a huge boondoggle. These sanctuary cities, it's funny to see them cry uncle, but yet there's some of them like Adams and that whack job in Chicago. They're doubling down on their situation, even though their citizenry,
Bruce, you're so intelligent.
Their constituents are their minds are exploding.
So this is a strategy. When they're caught, when they know that what they've done is wrong, when they finally figure it out, they don't come clean. They don't come and apologize. They don't back off. They double down. And that's what we're seeing. So that's why I say we're in the end of this. We're getting very close to the tipping point, and it's going to be messy when it gets there. But we're getting closer to the tipping point on this. Now they're doubling down. You can see the crazy, and it's just way off the rails now, and what they're doing, a thing, right? So they'll get around the law any way they can. For them, the Constitution is an obstacle that they need to get around. They need to get past it. And, the whole idea of, Congress has the purse strings and they get to control that. And then you have the Senate, and then you've got the executive branch, and then you got judicial, and then you have media, and all these are supposed to be separate. They're all working in concert now. Right? Yep. And that is what the founding fathers wanted to never see happen, because then we end up with basically a communist kind of system. I call it Marxist, call it whatever you want to call it. But you have a small group of people controlling all the laws, all the rules. And believe me, none of the rules, none of the laws will ever be in favor of us, the small guy. Right?
Absolutely.
So,
I've made that decision. I'm good. They can come and do whatever they want to try to do, but I do not have to comply with and or participate in, laws, mandates, whatever that are repugnant to the Constitution and implemented by an illegitimate government. So they can go all fork off. I don't care.
They will put a few of us leaders, they'll try to make examples out of us. There's no question. That's what they do. The truth of the matter is there's so many of us now that the chances of everyone backing down, slim to nil. Not going to happen, at this point.
You have no... I'm exercising extreme restraint right now.
Ooh.
Because I have an armor light situation sitting right next to me. I just want to bring it up and brandish it.
Ah.
But I'm not.
The bonus is number 0. Red Cross now
blood.
Bruce, there are no guarantees in life. That's the truth,
You got to take a stand. If you're gonna, we talk about this stuff all the time, saying no, no, no. And here I was, going in for a surgery, about to be wheeled into the operating room, and I said no. And then the doctor comes in. Well, it's a very small percentage, and I'd hate to have something happen. Blah blah. Blah. That's all right. Fuck it. So I could end up being transfused.
Hey, Natalie, what's your blood type? Come here.
Well, she's O. So and I said, hey, can we call my kids? One of my kids A positive, or I just need an O. I'm A positive. A positive or O is all I need. So I'm going to next time I go, I'm going to have Nellie bleed off a couple of pints for me and bring my own in. You get BYOB, right? Bring your own blood.
Honey, Give me your arm. I got to see what's going on here.
Bring your own blood to your next operation.
We've been teasing all week that you look younger and younger and younger. And I said, what's the deal? Well, he does this all day long. You know what I mean? It's not once a day. You do it several times a day, from what I understand.
At least a couple, yeah.
Yeah, at least a couple. And people are saying, my God, Bruce looks like he's 16 again. This product is called Neumi Skin. And it is an amazing glutathione product, a nanoparticle glutathione that is absorbed by your skin, and you could use it on your face, your arms, your chest, anywhere you want to use it. It's no harm, no foul. And what it does, it really helps the skin heal and deal with oxidative stress, which is stress from the sun and toxins and everything else that you're exposed to. And ladies are recognizing that, it tightens up the skin, tightens up the wrinkles. They're not as wrinkled. The pores look closed. They look a lot better. It lightens the skin too. The tone of the skin lightens up, and liver spots and things like that get light. And a lot of ladies are going without makeup. So that, coupled with the NeutraSwish, which is the one you ingest. This one is sublingual. You put it under your tongue, swish it around for about 2 minutes, and swallow the rest. And this is the glutathione that'll go right into your blood system and go right to your liver, which will help you with more energy, help you, again, detox, because that's the liver's job, help clean up that blood and, all the toxicity and the oxidative stress we're exposed to. So that's a helpful thing. Also helps you sleep better, which is what helps me. And then we have one just for the ladies. This is called Neumi Herms, and this is a botanical. They use the same technology, but instead of just doing glutathione, they have a botanical here, and it helps with that time of the month, and helps with mood swings and low libido, and helps with hot flashes and all those kind of things there. So highly encourage you to go have a look at the products, and you can go over. We have a link for you, renegademedia.tv/energy, or you can just scan that QR code there, and you can find out more about these products. And let us know what you think, because the feedback we've been getting has been quite amazing. People are really enjoying it. And as a side benefit, you also help support our shows, this one and all the shows that we do during the week with Lewis and I. And, we really, really, really appreciate that help, that support.
Absolutely. Yep. And there's plenty of, do your own research. There's tons of research of glutathione on the NIH website. There's a YouTube channel, all the testimonials. There's a Neumi YouTube channel. There's tons of testimonials, pictures before and after of different people have used that stuff after like 3 weeks. It's crazy. Yep. The wrinkles. It's mind blowing. And this, there is no filters going on here. This is au naturel.
And as a side benefit, sometimes your hair gets a little bit darker. Mine's looking better today. I don't know. All right, AT&T. They had a little problem yesterday, didn't they? This is worth talking about. This is worth spending some time on here. This AT&T reveals the cause behind Thursday's massive cellular outage. And I don't know if I would use the word massive. It was only 75,000 customers that were out of the, I think they said 200 million, or a crazy number of 200 million customers they have. So they have probably the largest share of cellular customers in the country at this point. So really? The company announced, because everyone was saying, what were they saying, Bruce? They were saying what? Some of the people in our community were saying this was because of a
solar flare.
A solar flare. But the solar flare only impacted certain cities.
Right.
How did that happen?
And only mostly AT&T. I mean, solar flare. And just do some research of what a solar flare really affects. And don't buy into all this BS crap that everything's a solar flare. Every time something goes out, power goes out. I mean, everything's a solar flare. You see it all over the place. Come on. Understand. Get some science in you. Some real science. Not patriot science. Good grief. Yeah. Solar flares don't do that type of stuff. It's more low frequency radio waves and things like that. Yep. I mean, unless it's just a massive, and then it's more like an EMP situation. There was even people talking about EMPs, and that's the thing. Even since that the AT&T thing, DeSantis did a news conference in Orlando talking about, hey, there's potential for EMPs. You got to become even. Rubio was out, talking about the potential for massive cyber attacks and this and that. So they're seeding the consciousness. The World Economic Forum, I think over a year ago, said there's a major cyber attack. So they have been seeding the consciousness in these little things that happen that are pretty innocuous as far as the reasoning behind it. Are used to seed our consciousness for some big thing. Because I don't know. I mean, in my gut, I don't know how or why, but in my gut, there has to be some big event coming because they're a little bit too much. They're dangling that carrot in front of us, that programming, that predictive programming, and the different stories and how there's just a drip readying us for a big flood here soon. So
well, that was the other thing. People were saying, "Oh, this was a cyber attack," or some people were saying this is a precursor to the big blackout, the 10 days of darkness, right? And all of those things could have a little bit of truth to them. This could have been a dry run. It could have been a test to see. It could have been a hack from China to see how much of the system they could literally take down. Now, AT&T is claiming in a statement that the outage was not a cyber attack, but an unspecified coding error caused by the application and execution of an incorrect process used as we were expanding our network. Now, that is gobbledygook for someone who knows anything about technology.
Or somebody fucked up. That
is
means.
Gobbledygook. That tells you nothing. Absolutely nothing. The incorrect
Somebody
process,
hit enter and they shouldn't have.
The incorrect process in question is related to a software update gone awry.
Yeah. Yes.
You know that checkbox you're supposed to check, Joey? You didn't check it. What's the matter with you, huh? You took down half the country.
How frail. I mean, all kidding aside, how frail our infrastructure is to, some guy doing some innocuous type of software update hits the wrong key and blacks out the entire freaking country. I mean, come on. That's the sad part about the infrastructure of our electric grid. Holy cow!
Well, number one, it's not that fragile. It's fragile, but not quite that fragile, right? Number two, this is total BS. There's something else going on that they're not going to disclose. Probably a cyber attack, probably from the inside, not from the outside, not from China, from whatever. Probably an attack from the inside, which they are not going to disclose. This is nonsense. There's no way that there's a software update that they didn't test 50,000 times before they roll it out. You just don't do that. You just don't roll out software updates to a production environment without having tested everything about it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with. But I always joke around. Sometimes you listen to a radio station, all of a sudden there's just goes quiet. I was like, oh damn, somebody tripped over the cord. I was doing a show. I was doing a show yesterday morning on my morning show. All of a sudden, power just goes out. Everything goes dark. I'm like, oh shit, really? I came back finally after several minutes. I got it rebooted and came back on. Was able to resume the stream. But then I was like, the damn deep state's coming after me again, or it was a freaking solar flare that caused my power to flash. All these different excuses you come up with. And that just happens here in Florida every once in a while. For no just reason. Your power just go off for a second and then come back on.
Yep. That's circuit switching. So they have a problem in one area, they switch the circuit to a different one, and there you go. The
lesson learned there is I probably should get a battery backup for my computer.
Well, yeah, UPS would not be a bad idea, especially for a streaming environment. I have a large one here, but I have 4 computers that I run, and I can't run 4 off of one. So I would need literally 3 more UPSs to keep things going in studio if the power went out.
Crazy.
Did you see this Willis-Wade relationship deal? Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade.
Getting juicy.
Nathan, they seem to have perjured themselves, both of them. So that could be the end of that case. If they get taken off, that whole thing falls apart. Nathan Wade appeared to make at least 35 visits to Hapeville neighborhood where Fannie Willis was living before. See the movie 2000 Mules, and they poo-pooed it, and they said cell phone data doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But according to cell phone data included in a court submission filed Friday today, they can track where he was, at what time he was there, what he was doing, right? Who he was with. Oh, look, this cell phone and this cell phone, they're in the same location. Oh, isn't that special?
All right.
The filing by attorneys for Donald Trump raises fresh questions about the relationship between the two prosecutors, which the former president and other defendants argue has tainted the case against them and should result in Willis and her office being disqualified.
100%.
Yep.
I mean, the 2,000 mules, the geo tracking. They say, it's not reliable. It's no good. They're going to do the same thing here, but yet there's people that they're prosecuting for J6 that they use geo tracking on for their cell phones that were near the Capitol.
Oh, it was good for that, but it wasn't good for 2,000 mules. How many of the mules got arrested, by the way? The answer: one.
Oh, really? One?
One. There was one in Arizona that got arrested.
Interesting.
Yep, but that was it. What happened to the other 1,999?
Right? They're suing. They're getting lawsuits, defamation lawsuits.
Yeah, well, this is what I keep saying. The answer is anything it takes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So if there is going to be an election,
if
now, like I said, 100% on our side are saying no way it happens. The wheels are falling off too quickly. We're not going to get to the end. I'm frankly shocked we're this far along.
We got 8 months. 8 months till November.
Yep. I can't believe that we're this far along. I didn't think Biden would last 6 weeks. I thought this would get reversed. I never thought he'd get sworn in.
Right. We all thought that.
Yeah. And now here we are, 8 months left in term number 1. I'm like, whoa, the damage he's done to our country, our society, 15 million plus illegals in here. We don't know why they're here. They're putting them all over the place. In San Diego this morning, as the migration centers in San Diego apparently ran out of money, and they dumped all these people on the streets, and they're hoping for the NGOs to pick them up, bring them to the airports, bring them to the bus terminals, and doing the same thing we're seeing all over. They're just shipping them to all cities all over the place, and you could tell each one of them had a destination. They had an address, no idea where they're going. They're just like, oh, I'm going to Atlanta. Okay, What are you gonna do when you get there? I don't know. Get my debit card,
funny.
I guess.
Just about 3 weeks ago, there was a rally in San Ysidro, right where this guy was. There was the rally, Take Our Border Back, right? Rally that was in San Ysidro in that same city 3 weeks ago. And they're planning other ones. It's coming. I don't know the dates yet, but it is coming within a very reasonably short period of time. We should know. They'll be rolling that information out for another. We need to continue the pressure. More people this time. The first time we proved that it wasn't J6 2.0. No incidents. Nobody got arrested. It wasn't a Fed situation. So we were expecting tons more people because this has to stop. I mean, the story that I heard, it just broke my heart earlier today. One of these illegal criminal aliens that came across was pissed off, upset that it was taking the government too long to get him his care package, his cell phone, his debit card, whatever. So he goes up on an overpass on a highway, starts throwing rocks because it went through the windshield, hit her right in the head. The 911 call is on TikTok. There was a guy talking about it on X today, and it got my blood boiling. The collateral damage, the human, the innocent people being damaged because of the willful negligence, the criminal treasonous negligence of our alleged administration, the DHS, the Department of Human Smuggling, Mayorkas, who's been impeached but won't be removed. So yeah, this is a huge problem.
It is, and you're right. The collateral damage is really hard to watch. It's really hard to see that our fellow neighbors and citizens are getting harmed by this, and our government's facilitating it and paying for it. And you've got all these NGOs, Catholic Charities being one of the biggest ones there. It's like bail on the Catholic Church, and I grew up Catholic, by the way. So bail on the Catholic Church and stop giving them your money. They're not doing God's will here, not doing God's work. They're doing the opposite of it, and they're facilitating this. This is one of the many NGOs doing it. So it's really challenging when the people that are supposed to be our leaders and supposed to be looking out for the country are doing the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's treason. It's treason, 100%.
Yep. Okay. Let's jump. I'm gonna reverse the order of two stories here so that we stay on topic. Here's a story here in this presidency under Biden, where there are only 11 under Trump. But it's the 24,000 Chinese nationals who came in last year. 20,000 of them since October 1st, the highest number ever. Before that, under Trump, it was 1,800. And he says you don't leave China with the social credit score system unless the CCP knows about it. They're flying to South America and Central America, and they're coming up here. They're paying $60,000 to the cartels, which is enriching the cartels. And we're basically feeding them money and letting these individuals come into the United States, he added.
Yep. And I'm not one that, has 100% buy into the whole nefarious militarized thing. I mean, that is a definite possibility. I'd be more into the, espionage, intellectual property, these people, trying to get jobs and, feeding information back to the CCP for them to use for whatever. We know that they're buying land and they own most of our debt. Nowadays, China is the new boogeyman. That we
they have their own police stations in our country, in our large cities, to look after their people. So their people are not free. Right. They come to America, but they're not free. They're still under CCP rule.
Oh yeah. Like you said, they don't leave China unless you're allowed to leave China.
Yep. And then the rumors that we're hearing, and they are rumors at this point. We don't have any proof until I see photos and videos and can prove that those are real. We hear that there are weapons caches being put all around the country for these people. Laura talked about it yesterday and said, this is the army, and these people will be armed. They will be MK Ultra'd into becoming the super soldiers. Many of them already are programmed, and they're just waiting for the command. And they'll arm them, and they'll just be the super soldiers, and they're going to round up, according to her, all those of us on our side who don't believe in the narrative. And we're the enemy to them, because we threaten their vision. It's no more in politics, where it's just like, well, Bruce, I don't really agree with you on this. Now it's Bruce, I don't agree. She's an interesting character, former Democrat congressman, right? And from Hawaii, and she left the Democrat Party. She's now denouncing them at every step, and become all of a sudden a huge fan. It was interesting because Bannon had her on the show, and he said, "Welcome to our side." And she wasn't quite ready to go there yet, but you kind of got the idea that she's very much leaning in this direction. I think everything that's happened the past few years with the Democrat Party is sort of pushing her more and more in this direction.
It's happening all over the place. I mean, she's just one of tens of thousands, if not millions. I mean, the people who called themselves normal center of the road or Democrats back in the day, like a John F. Kennedy Democrat. They're MAGA Republicans today. I mean, that's that party, that Democrat Party has shifted so far away from, the normal stuff. I mean, you can't even call it Democrats anymore. It's
in 1960, you and I would have voted for JFK.
100%.
We would have been Democrats. Yeah.
And they're switching sides all over the place. I mean, I saw an article that, there's a former CNN employee who is going to be running or is interviewing for a school board seat as a Republican in New Jersey. You know what I'm talking about?
Fascinating.
Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head.
Well, who's Mr. Potato Head?
Brian Stelter, former CNN, talking head right here.
Where are you? There you are.
Ex-CNN host. You can see my chat too. Brian running for office as a Republican in the aiming for a seat in the Reddington Township, New Jersey school board. He's this gal. What's her name? Retired. Christina Napoli retired. So they're looking for people to fill this seat. He's one of 6 candidates vying for the position. So Brian Stelter is running as a Republican for a school board seat in New Jersey.
Now, the question you have to ask yourself there, because Liz Cheney ran as a Republican because it was easier for her to win under the R than under the D. So sometimes they'll do that. So we got to pay attention here. Well,
I mean, just because he was working at CNN and playing that role as an actor there maybe he was Republican all along. He was just going along with the charade. Who knows?
We don't know.
You know,
We don't know.
that's the insanity of this bizarre upside down world that we live in. He could have been Republican all along. He could be hardcore ultra MAGA and just collecting that paycheck from being the antithetical, to what, just to play that role, that narrative. Who knows?
I have a strategy that I'm using now, and it seems to be serving me well, is that I'm not listening to so much to what people say, watching more what they do, and I'm kind of blotting out what they did. You might say,
right.
Well, why would you do that? Because everyone has skeletons, right? And the question then becomes, is like you say, well, you did this 20 years ago, so you're still that same person. I'm not the same person I was 20 minutes ago. I'm always evolving, always growing, always learning, right? My knowledge and my beliefs and all of these things have changed a lot drastically over the years. So I'm not looking so much at what they did or what they were. I'm looking what they are and what they're doing now. And that's how I'm making my judgments. So Tulsi Gabbard is a great example of that. It's like if I look at what she was, Democrat Congresswoman, right? I would say, oh, no. But if I look at what she's saying and look at what she's doing right now, I like this iteration of her.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's, that mindset, how we view things, and our beliefs, just like Lisa Schermerhorn's book, and every belief is a lie. Mm-hmm. Her, just because we think, oh, she was a Democrat, Democrats, evil, break out the garlic and, and the steaks and the heart and all that different type of stuff. But that's the programming that we've had in there. There's probably some Democrats out there that are pretty fine people. I don't agree with them ideologically. They're not as evil like the Pelosi's and the Obamas and, those types, the crazy, power hungry, just, evil as the day is long. But, the average Democrat probably ain't bad people. They just have a little different ideology. And, I think there's tons of them that are would lean towards, center of the road, more centrist than, hardcore, ultra MAGA or, full blown communist. And that most people run down the middle of the road.
Right. And if you want to sit down with somebody who's quote unquote on the other side and say, what do you really want? What's the vision for America? You'll find out it's very similar to what we want. It's not that different. We may take different roads. We may use different words. We may follow different people. But the truth is we all want the same things. Right. Yep. Nobody wants these open borders. Nobody wants all of this coming in. There's only a handful of people, the globalists, that want that. And, if you look at the majority, it's right. We're a center right country. Right. So we are mostly little right of center, but we're right down that middle lane. If you look at it that way, it's like we're not far left. We're not far right. We're just right down that middle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's their, part of the ploy, regardless of, which side you're on. There's even people in the ultra MAGA side that I would even label that their fervor for that ideology is almost cultish. It's very, very, some people it's just very disturbing and over the top. And I'm backing away. I mean, I'm all for freedom. Maybe later on, before we end up here, maybe we can play the brand new Tom McDonald song, The Machine. But he says, I'm not liberal. I'm not Republican. Why can't we just be Americans without all the politics?
Correct.
That's kind of the first line in the song. And so, that's what they want. They want us divided. They want us to keep us, at each other. And,
that's where we're weakest. Yeah. When we fight amongst each other, we're the weakest. Yep. Yeah.
It's cultish on both sides. It's not, it's not just the Democrats, the Republicans are just as cultish. So yeah, you gotta think for yourself. This whole groupthink thing pisses me off as well. But at least, this guy, Brian Stelter, at least it wasn't Jeffrey Toobin. That's what somebody replied on X. At least it wasn't Jeffrey Toobin.
It wasn't him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mr. Spank the Monkey on the Zoom.
Let me introduce you to something fun. This is Thumper. He's going to be 15 this year. And he acts like a kitten. It's just unreal. Absolutely unreal. You know what I'm doing, Bruce? You know what the secret is?
What's that?
Pet food. Really good pet food. Really amazing pet food that is actually cured and removed.
All that stuff. So Pet Club 247 came up with a brilliant idea. They have food, supplements, and treats and toys that are all healthy. The main ingredient, they use other stuff too, but the magic thing in this is the Coriolis versicolor mushroom, commonly called turkey tail. They got a special way that they extract it and put it in there and all that stuff. I don't know all the sciencey stuff. There's plenty of white papers. Just go to the website. The website is healthyswitch.petclub247. Healthyswitch.petclub247. Yep, there it is right there. And you can learn for yourself. Try some of this stuff out. Everybody that I know who has, tried it. And here's the thing: it can't be like a Pets doesn't have that placebo effect, right? So if you could give them a sugar pill, you're not going to feel better. They just get better. I mean, our dog, we got a 16-year-old Chug that we thought we were going to, as we were traveling last year on the Truth Tour, my kids didn't want to babysit the dog anymore because that's how poor our dog was.
Wow.
But just a couple of weeks after being on the Coriolis versicolor, the mush puppies, the super sauce, and then eventually got into the food and things, day and night difference. She's almost, we got a 1-year-old little pup you've seen on here before, Rue, another Chihuahua. But, now they're playing with each other, chasing each other up and down the hallways here. So, but just go there. Go to healthyswitch.petclub247. Look it up. Look into it. Research it yourself. Don't trust me. There's tons of testimonials. There's tons of science. And if you can turn this passion too. If you have a passion for healthy pets, you can turn it into a side hustle as well. We're looking for more voices to be the voice for the voiceless, because the pets, they can't tell us if they're sick or they're whatever. So we have to be the ones to be the voice. So if you have a passion for pets, healthy, and you could use an extra side hustle, some income, hit us up at that website. You can email my wife, Natalie at switch-usa.com. Just like mine is switch-usa.com or switch hyphen. Natalie at switch-usa.com. We'll give you all the details. It's super easy.
And how about this guy here? Do we follow him on X or not?
Absolutely. He's doing what he can out there on X, growing, sharing stuff, information, doing live streams out there. At Bruce Poppy 1776 on X. I've been doing the spaces is fantastic. You can still, since Elon took over, there's been a marketed change in the content that is on there. I'm sure there's still people being shadow banned in certain things because there's still some rogue people or who knows AI things going on in there. But the X Spaces has been amazing. They're like audio live stream stuff. You can actually ask questions, interact. I mean, it's been phenomenal. So I highly recommend, if you're not on X or you've been kicked off, go check or start a new account and follow me over there. Or I know Robert's on there as well.
Yep. Follow at Robert Imbriali, and you'll find us on there. And I tell you, I look for the news in the morning. Actually, I go to two places. I go to Telegram and I go to X, and not necessarily in that order. And that's where I find the latest and greatest. And it's much, it used to be things like Gateway Pundit and Breitbart and things like that. But the information on X is there sometimes a day before it shows up in these other websites. It's so far ahead. And that's why, some people say, man, you guys are always ahead of the news. Well, one of the reasons why is we use these tools. So Telegram is really good. Telegram is also not a censored platform. And also, we use X, and those are the two places we'll go. And then we'll go back it up. You see some of the stories we shared today are from Gateway Pundit and Zero Hedge and Breitbart and things like that. We'll go look and get more detail, because you don't necessarily have a lot of detail on X. But Tucker Carlson's show is on X, and that should tell you a lot. Alex Jones is also there. I know not everyone's a fan of Alex. He can be a little bit over the top. But you gotta take all this stuff in and then sort of sort through it. And these are the platforms that will help you a lot in doing that. Okay.
Right.
The Trump legal team, they're in the news today. They filed several motions to dismiss Jack Smith's classified docs case, citing presidential immunity once again. So earlier this month, special counsel Robert Hur found that Joe Biden willfully retained classified information, which, by the way, he had no business having in the first place. However, he decided not to charge him. Oh, what a surprise to do so. But remember, he was just a kindly little old man, too old to stand trial. Trump's legal team late Thursday night filed several motions arguing the federal charges should be dismissed for many different reasons, including the statute Trump was charged with, the unconstitutionality of Jack Smith's appointment, and other points related to the Presidential Records Act. President Trump's alleged decision to designate records as personal under the PRA, Presidential Records Act, and cause them to be removed from the White House, which underlies counts 1 through 32 of the superseding indictment, was an official act by the incumbent president. Trump's lawyers wrote in court papers filed late Thursday night. So in other words, the only person that could classify or declassify is the president under the Presidential Records Act. He did so there's no case. He didn't have classified information, he declassified it.
At his will, at his authority, whatever he likes.
Yep.
And I think, there's some people in the conspiracy theory, type of stuff that say, hey, this whole documents case for Trump when they raided Mar-a-Lago wasn't about the president, the stuff. They were looking for that 3-inch binder of stuff he did declassify about Obamagate and all the stuff that proves that Biden, Obama, Clinton's, all these people involved, all the Brennans and all these people are traitors for what they did by implementing the spying of Trump as a presidential candidate and continued into his presidency. Right. They were looking for that binder of information so they could make that disappear, and they still haven't found it, according to all the things that I've heard. Kash Patel has been talking about it. Multiple other people have mentioned that, hey, that's what they're really looking for, and they haven't found it yet. They don't know where it's at.
The missing binder that will take them all down, by the way.
Junior's got it. Maybe
will take them all down.
Junior's got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's really interesting to see that it's like Trump has it. And the FBI, by the way, and the Secret Service, by the way, had full access to all the classified records that Trump had. He had them in a special room, and the FBI actually told him to replace the lock. So replaced it with an FBI-approved lock to which the FBI had the key to. That wasn't enough. They still had to raid Mar-a-Lago. 8 hours they were in there because that binder was probably in Melania's underwear drawer. Right?
Amongst other things.
You can't make this stuff up sometimes. Crazy stuff. They did it when Trump wasn't there. They wouldn't let his lawyers in. They wanted to confiscate the security camera video so you wouldn't see what they did. They went through it. They're looking for that binder. Clearly. I mean, you have to be an idiot not to see that. They were looking for it. So then the question is, the conspiracy is like, what happened to that binder? You think Trump still has it?
Oh yeah, it's somewhere. If he doesn't have it in his possession, he knows where it's at. It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Somebody's got it.
Now, the suggestion was made, they probably have copies of this stuff, and I'm like, no, when it's classified material, there's only the original hard copy. There are no photocopies, there are no digital copies, because once it goes digital, it can be stolen. There's no way to keep digital stuff private. I know that's hard to hear. But if it's digital, that's why your medical records are digital now by law, right? You go to a doctor, he has to file on a computer everything that is wrong with you and everything they did.
You mean my Facebook DMs are not private?
Nothing is private. Tucker Carlson even said he uses the Signal app, because that's supposed to be encrypted end to end. And he said, no, the government got into it twice. They knew he was going to Moscow before he knew he was going to Moscow. Yeah. So anything digital is hackable. Yeah, there is no privacy when it's digitized. So that's just the way it is. All right. This is an interesting story. Eagle Pass, Texas is in the news again. Not for a good reason. Well, maybe. We'll see. Customs and Border Patrol seizes 6.5 tons of meth in Eagle Pass, the largest haul ever at a point of entry. Woo!
That's 13,000 pounds.
U.S. Customs and Border Patrol said Thursday it seized 6.5 tons of methamphetamine at Eagle Pass Port of Entry in Texas. It's the largest seizure ever made at a port of entry in a single enforcement action. The methamphetamine had a street value of more than $117 million, according to a press release. Is that retail or wholesale?
I would say that would be retail.
Yeah, probably retail. The seizure was made at the Camino Real International Bridge on February 18th when a CBP officer referred a tractor-trailer manifesting a shipment of drying agents for piglets for secondary inspection. Drying agents for piglets. Never heard of such a thing.
Piggy towels, or is that like for curing bacon?
Well, piglets, you wouldn't cure them because they're not grown yet.
Yeah.
The CBP said that its officers conducted a canine, non-intrusive inspection on the truck and found nearly 13,101 pounds, you were right about the math, of alleged methamphetamine. Mark Dawson, a special agent in charge of Homeland Security investigations, Houston, said the seizure is a record-breaking amount of narcotics. Prevent poisonous substances, he said. Special agents from Homeland Security investigators are investigating the seizure. The agency did not disclose if any arrests were made in connection with the seizure. I guess Hunter Biden's still a free man. The gargantuan methamphetamine seizure.
An autonomously driving truck with this 13,000 pounds, there was nobody driving it, so they didn't arrest anybody?
Let's see here. Yeah, well, the rest of it doesn't matter. I read through the rest of it. Not really that important. But open borders.
Yeah, well, here's what we need. We need more money for the DHS's budget to be able to combat this type of stuff. Come on. Really? This is all willful. I mean, they throw out these things here. It was probably, who knows? I mean, I got to experience a dog sniffing on my RV on my way home from Arizona on the Take Our Border Back convoy, coming through Texas on 10. There's a little pull off, and it was a Border Patrol inspection station. Pulling off there, I'm in the RV, me and the wife. And the guy with the dog, I was watching him. This dog was trained, and he was quick too. He'd have the dog on the leash, and the dog, next car would come up. He would go like to the middle of the bumper in the front, and he would just go right down the front and back, and then he would step away, go to the next car. And the guy asked us as we rolled up, "Hey, anybody else in there?" Nope, just me and the wife. So the dog sniffed us. We were good, on our way. But I mean,
you passed the sniff test. That's good. Even though you hadn't showered in a few days, it was good.
Oh yeah. Good thing it wasn't Biden out there sniffing stuff, Yeah.
I don't, when I see these stories, I don't know when I'm looking at them, if I'm looking at something that is real or is it just something they're putting up there to say, hey, look, we're doing our work. Because there's so much of this coming across the border. You catch one every now and again.
Yeah.
Okay. You could have used a better excuse than drying agents for piglets. You know what I mean? I think he could have made something up better than that, right?
Right. I mean, but think about it, $117 million, right? For 13,000 pounds. And we know that the drug is billions. So a billion is 1,000 million, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's like the, J6ers, 1,200 people out of 2 million getting arrested. So they got 13,000 pounds, 117 million out of multiple billions of dollars. So they're getting just a tiny fraction.
Tiny fraction.
So like you said, you're saying, yeah, we're doing our job. I totally resonate with that. That's why, after the DOJ went after Hunter Biden for bullshit stuff, that they give a misdemeanor thing to Ray Epps for the J6 thing. We're not a one-sided, Department of Justice. We're equal and fair in our justice, our application of justice. No, they do these little things and throw you a little bone to make you think that, hey, good job, Border Patrol.
That's what this feels like to me. It feels like a PR stunt. It doesn't feel like anything real.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they may have stopped the drugs, but like you said, it's a hair. It's a drop in the bucket compared to what's actually coming across.
Yeah, the thing is, follow those drugs into the evidence locker and then make sure all 13,000 pounds get destroyed or incinerated and not funneled back out around to some other cartel members. That happens all the time too.
Exactly. Yep. Hey, I want our chat room, see if they can look up piglet drying agent, see if it's a real thing. Or did something get lost in the translation? I don't know. It's kind of odd.
Piglet drawing agents.
All right, put your video up. Let's play your video.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I know you've been waiting for this, so now's a good time.
So yeah, excuse me. So Tom McDonald, everybody knows Tom McDonald. Love Tom McDonald. He's an independent artist, kind of rapperish guy. He came out with a brand new song today, noontime, and the name of the song is called "The Machine." So check it out. Tom, a more about the freedom. He says in the song he took the red pills because that's who's fighting for the freedom. Republicans, Democrats, doesn't matter. It's all garbage. That's why I said I'm getting all fired up and emotional here. You know, our entire lives, we've been fed this bullshit, right, left, right? It's ones and zeros in the matrix, this binary choice system where every time a third party tries to get any traction, it's, crashes and burns. Well, now is our opportunity. The third party is rising, and that party is we the people. Stop all the labels, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. I'm just an American guy who wants to live my life and free. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be taught, I want to say what I want to say. I don't want to have anything inhibit me in that manner. I do everything I do with an intention of love and truth. And if they don't like it, whether you're Donald Trump or anybody else, it doesn't matter. Donald Trump is not a savior. He's, we all have this savior mentality. I just want to think for myself, and that's what's been driven to, like I said earlier tonight, even people on the ultra mega type of thing, it's very cultish. We got to get out of this groupthink. Start thinking for yourselves. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that they want to do. And so that's where I'm standing. And this song hit me hard. So I love Tom McDonald. He's spot on every time.
He is, absolutely. And we're going to see more of that because we do program people through music. And it's good to see more of these songs like the Levy song that we play at the end at the show sometimes. The same thing. It's like, this messaging is really important to get out there. That's why we play it. So we really have to be reminded of it. I looked up, just out of curiosity, dual dry piglet drying agent. It's actually a thing. Does exist.
What's it for?
Dual dry piglet drying agent is used on newborn and pre-weaned pigs, as well as surrounding environment to maintain crucial body warmth. At birth, piglets are more prone to excessive heat loss due to their limited energy reserves and need to be warmed immediately. So it's a thing. I didn't know it was a thing. See, we learned something. You come to this show, you actually learn things.
You put it on, or you put it in their bed as like bedding? Or
Probably. It's a 40-pound bag for $58. So, I could see, because it's a white powder, I could see how they probably tried to pass it off as, we've got a truck full of white powder. Uh-huh.
But Fido caught him.
Yeah. Oh, brother. All right, my friend, we've come to the end of another glorious week.
I hate it when it's over. I hate it when it's over.
I know. Lewis said, keep it under 2 hours. I said, well, can we do 4? He said, no, 2. I'm like, okay.
Lewis ain't my boss.
Lewis does a great job.
As a programming note,
yes,
I will be, and we got to have this discussion with somebody. I will be streaming the SBG News and Views at 6 p.m. Eastern on my channel as well, starting on Monday.
Ooh, yay.
And we're in negotiations for syndication to put Unpopular Viewpoint on SBG Monday morning, Wednesday morning, Friday morning. So we're working out a co-mingling of our broadcast, because I do morning, he does nights, so it's a win-win for everybody.
It's a win-win. I don't know what I do. I just show up. And then when Lewis says, okay, we're going live, okay. Let me boot some computers up first, huh?
Yeah, Robert does a fantastic job. He is the unsung hero behind the scenes of the SBG News, putting everything together, making what goes out on the stream, all the bottom third and the different stuff. I mean, he does all that stuff, and it's quite a task and chore if you've never done it. That's why I do live streams, because I don't like the post and pre-production editing and all that stuff. Robert is stellar at all that, and he does a fantastic job. All our broadcasts look like we're multi-million-dollar operation, but we're held together with rubber bands and bubble gum.
That's right. If you saw how small my little studio is right here, well, actually, I'm in a big room, but yeah, not using up a large space to be able to do this. But it is not just the technology, it's also the knowledge. And I have been doing television production for a very long time. Actually, in college, I started doing television production. And yeah, fell in love with it, always loved video and, having a lot of fun with live streaming.
TV? They had TV when you were in college?
They had TV when I was in college, yeah.
I'm just making a joke.
My final exam was interesting. The college professor I had, he saw that I had a penchant for this stuff, so he went into the studio. He took every cable, disconnected it, and put a big pile of cables in the middle of the studio. And he said, I got errands to run. I'll be back around 5. Rewire the entire studio. And it's got, he wanted to come back in and make sure he turned on all the cameras and all the VCRs and everything, want to make sure everything was working. And he did. He came back at the end of the day, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had the studio all rewired. He was blown away. He didn't think I'd be able to do it.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Now, if you've seen some of the stuff, I mean, I've been to his, when he had an external studio there in San Diego, when we had a Truth Tour event there, God bless America, wow, I was impressed. Wires everywhere. I said, holy spaghetti, Batman.
I can tell you how long it took to dewire that studio. It took hours of wiring of cables.
Oh, yeah, you got to pull them, you got to wind them, you got to label them, put them in the right box. Oh, my God.
There was a lot to do. What else is coming up for you this week? You're going to be back next Friday, I believe.
Next Friday, yes, Friday morning show. I mean, I do shows Monday morning, which is Mindset Monday. And then Wednesday, we do a Wacky Wednesday show. And then Friday mornings, we do Freaky Friday. And then along with Robert here on Friday night, Unraveling the News. So, yeah, what I'm excited about this weekend is tomorrow. Anybody in South Carolina, get out and vote. Tomorrow's the primary. We get to give what's her name there? Bird
Nikki.
Brain.
Goodbye,
spanking.
Nikki.
Yeah, her career is over tomorrow. So where I'm excited to see how bad of a schlubbing she gets.
Well, you got to keep in mind there's a reason that they're making her hang on, right? It's not because she has any chance of winning, but if Trump is removed from the ballot for whatever reason, gets one indictment, he can be removed, he can't run, then who gets the position? She gets it.
Well, not an indictment,
She's a
one
globalist.
Conviction, a felony conviction.
She needs a conviction,
That's
right?
why.
And they just need one. That's why they put, 900 convictions?
Yeah. So the people are saying by March, middle of March, he's got enough delegates to wrap up the nomination. So yeah, she's hanging on for their last prayer, their Hail Mary, that they'll be able to put somebody in if they're able to get Teflon Don.
Well, the numbers and winning the primary actually does not matter. So her not winning a single state makes absolutely no difference. Because if Trump is removed, then the RNC gets to appoint, and who they're going to appoint is the one with the biggest name recognition, which would be her, because we keep talking about her.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to be aware of that. That is a potential game. We don't know if it'll happen, but it certainly is a potential game that could happen. It looks like the court cases are starting to fall apart. The wheels are really starting to fall off them. So maybe by mid-March, we can be beyond this and start looking at whether or not there will be an election. Remember, April 1st is the start of the new fiscal year for corporations internationally. And there are a lot of people saying that, the U.S. government will be out of money by then. And a lot of the banks will be insolvent by then, and we could have that long-promised financial crash right around that time. So eyes open. We'll bring you whatever we know as soon as we know it. And Bruce and I always make the commitment, and so does Lewis, that if something were to happen over the weekend, we still pay attention. Although it's the weekend and we're not doing shows, we still pay attention to what's going on. And if there's a reason to, we will record videos or come live and bring you, the information as we know it.
Si, senor.
Yes. Bruce, love you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate everything you do for us. We've got a Biden Falls video we're going to run. Then we'll run our normal. Well, no, we'll just end with this today. I think this is a great place to say goodnight. Thank you all. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. I love watching the chat room and everything that you guys post in there. You guys are amazing. And I'll see you back here Monday. Bruce will be on Unpopular Viewpoint Monday morning, and I'll be back with Lewis Monday afternoon, evening, and Bruce and I will be back here doing this fun show. And we're going to call this